The unveiling storm. The Grand Assembly Hall of Nexus Prime Station stretched for nearly a kilometer in all directions. Floating platforms held delegates from across the galaxy, each species positioned according to ancient protocols that had maintained peace for over 3 centuries. Today, however, that peace felt fragile as whispers filled the vast chamber. Ambassador Sarah Chen adjusted her formal diplomatic robes and stepped onto the human delegation platform. The murmurs grew louder as alien eyes turned toward her. She had served as humanity's voice in the Galactic Federation for 15 years, but never had she felt such tension in the air. High above, the crystalline form of Supreme Arbiter Kevlar began the session. Light refracted through their translucent body as they spoke in the universal frequency that all species could understand. The Assembly recognizes the growing concerns regarding humanity's recent activities. We have received reports of unusual construction projects in human space. From across the chamber, Admiral Zexhai of the Saurian Republic raised his massive scaled hand. His species had ruled vast territories for millennia before humans had even discovered fire. Supreme Arbiter, the Saurian Intelligence Network has detected massive energy signatures from human shipyards. These readings suggest construction on an unprecedented scale. Sarah's heart quickened. The reports were true, but she had hoped they would remain secret longer. She activated her platform's communication system. The human colonies operate within all established treaties. We have the right to defend our territories as we see fit. A chittering sound filled the air as Commander Thakmor of the Hive Collective spoke. His insectoid form twitched with agitation. Defense. Our scouts report a vessel larger than anything in Federation records. This goes beyond defense into the realm of galactic threat. The chamber erupted in concerned voices. Species that had barely spoken to each other for decades suddenly found common ground in their fear of human advancement. Sarah watched as alliances formed in real time, united by a single purpose: containing humanity. Counselor Viridian, whose people had always been voices of reason, raised their crystalline appendage for silence. Perhaps we should allow Ambassador Chen to explain these activities before we assume malicious intent. Sarah stood, grateful for the support. Honored delegates, humanity has indeed been developing new defensive technologies. Our rapid expansion into previously uninhabited systems has made us targets for raiders and hostile forces. We require adequate protection for our civilians. Admiral Zexhay's golden eyes narrowed. Adequate protection does not require a vessel that our sensors cannot fully measure. The energy readings suggest a ship kilometers in length. Nothing in the galaxy requires such extreme measures for protection. Sarah paused. The moment of truth had arrived sooner than expected. The Prometheus Dawn was still months from completion, but clearly their construction efforts had not gone unnoticed. She made a decision that would change everything. Supreme Arbiter, if the Assembly requires transparency, humanity is prepared to provide it. She activated her personal communicator. Director Santos, transmit the technical specifications. The center of the chamber filled with light as a holographic projection materialized. Gasps echoed throughout the hall as the image resolved into the most massive starship any of them had ever seen. The Prometheus Dawn stretched nearly 5 kilometers from bow to stern, bristling with defensive systems and technologies that defied conventional understanding. Admiral Zexhai rose from his platform, his voice filled with disbelief. Impossible. The power requirements alone would drain a small star. How could humans possibly construct such a vessel? The ship's holographic display rotated slowly, revealing details that left the alien delegates speechless. Triple-layered hull plating, energy barriers that could withstand stellar phenomena, and propulsion systems that seemed to bend space itself around the vessel. Commander Thakmor's mandibles clicked rapidly in distress. This is not a defensive vessel. This is a weapon capable of conquering entire star systems. The Hive Collective demands immediate intervention. Other voices joined the outcry. Species that had viewed humans as newcomers to galactic civilization suddenly saw them as an existential threat. The Crystalline Coalition called for immediate sanctions. The aquatic sovereignty demanded weapon inspections. The machine collective calculated threat assessments in real time. Sarah remained calm despite the chaos surrounding her. The Prometheus Dawn is designed for exploration and protection of human colonies. Every system aboard serves a defensive purpose. Defensive. Admiral Zekshai's laugh was bitter. Ambassador, this vessel could challenge the combined fleets of 3 major species. Its very existence threatens the balance that has kept our galaxy peaceful. Supreme Arbiter Kethlar's voice cut through the noise. Order. The Assembly will maintain proper protocols. The crystalline being's light pulsed with authority. Ambassador Chen, the Federation Council requires detailed inspections of this vessel and all related technologies. Sarah's diplomatic training kicked in. Humanity appreciates the Federation's concerns. However, we cannot allow unrestricted access to classified defensive technologies. We would be willing to discuss limited inspections under proper security protocols. Commander Thakmor's chittering grew more aggressive. Unacceptable. The threat this vessel represents requires complete transparency. The Hive Collective suggests immediate action if humans refuse cooperation. The chamber filled with supporting voices. Species that had barely interacted with humanity suddenly spoke with unified purpose. The Void Swimmers called for economic sanctions. The Gas Giant Councils threatened trade embargoes. The Silicon Confederacy suggested military intervention. Councillor Viridian rose again, their voice carrying across the chaos. Fellow delegates, we risk repeating the mistakes of the past. Fear has driven species to conflict before. Perhaps we should seek understanding rather than confrontation. Admiral Zekshai turned toward the crystalline being. Counselor, with respect, understanding becomes irrelevant when facing extinction. This human vessel could dominate any system it enters. We cannot allow such power to exist unchecked. Sarah felt the weight of galactic history pressing down on her. Every word she spoke now could determine whether humanity would find acceptance among the stars or face united opposition from the galaxy's established powers. She thought of the millions of human colonists depending on her diplomacy. Honored delegates, humanity has no desire for conquest or domination. The Prometheus Dawn represents our commitment to protecting innocent lives and exploring the unknown. We built this vessel because we must be prepared for threats that standard ships cannot handle. What threats? Admiral Zekshai demanded. The Federation has maintained peace for centuries. What dangers could possibly require such overwhelming force? Sarah's expression grew grave. The galaxy is vast, Admiral. Not every threat comes from within Federation space. Our deep space probes have detected anomalies beyond the galactic rim. Energy signatures that suggest civilizations far older and more advanced than any of us. If such forces ever turn their attention toward our galaxy, we need to be ready. The chamber fell silent as delegates processed this revelation. The idea of external threats had not been seriously considered for generations. The Federation had grown comfortable with their isolated pocket of space. Supreme Arbiter Kethlar's light flickered with concern. Ambassador, do you have evidence of these external civilizations? Our data is still being analyzed, Sarah replied carefully. But the readings suggest structures and energy outputs that dwarf anything in known space. The Prometheus Dawn may seem excessive for internal conflicts, but it represents prudent preparation for unknown challenges. Commander Thakmor's mandibles clicked dismissively. Convenient excuses cannot mask the reality of this weapon. The Hive Collective maintains its position. This vessel must be neutralized before it becomes operational. Admiral Zekshai nodded agreement. The Saurian Republic concurs. We propose a joint inspection fleet with full authority to ensure this vessel poses no threat to galactic peace. Sarah's mind raced through diplomatic options. A joint fleet would discover technologies that humanity preferred to keep secret, yet refusal might trigger the very conflict they sought to avoid. The Prometheus Dawn was still months from completion, leaving human colonies vulnerable to potential Federation action. The human government requires time to consider such a significant request, she said finally. We ask for 30 standard days to prepare proper security protocols. Unacceptable. Commander Thakmor chittered. Every day this vessel remains under construction increases the threat it represents. The joint fleet departs within 72 hours. The chamber erupted again as species chose sides. Some supported immediate action, while others called for patience. Sarah watched as the delicate balance of galactic politics shifted around humanity's revelation. Supreme Arbiter Kethlar raised their appendage for silence. The Federation Council will vote on appropriate response measures. All delegates will have 24 hours to consult with their governments. This session is adjourned. As delegates began departing their platforms, Sarah remained in place, processing the magnitude of what had just occurred. The secret was out. The galaxy now knew about humanity's greatest achievement and their greatest gamble. Within days, a joint alien fleet would arrive at Kepler Station, demanding answers that could reshape the balance of power among the stars. She activated her secure communicator and spoke into the encrypted channel. Director Santos, this is Ambassador Chen. Code Red Protocol is now in effect. They're coming. When giants awaken. 3 days later, the Joint Federation fleet emerged from hyperspace at the edge of the Kepler system. 47 vessels representing 12 different species formed a defensive formation as they approached humanity's primary shipyard complex. Admiral Zexhai commanded from the Saurian Dreadnought Stellar Dominion, while Commander Thakmor's high vessel Swarm's Edge maintained position alongside other coalition ships. Director Elena Santos watched the approaching fleet from Kepler Station's command center. The facility orbited a gas giant whose rings provided cover for the massive construction base where humanity's most advanced vessels took shape. She had spent the last 72 hours preparing for this moment, coordinating with both Earth's government and the Prometheus Dawn's crew. Director, incoming transmission from the Coalition fleet, reported Communications Officer Martinez. Elena straightened her uniform and activated the main display. Admiral Zexhay's scaled features filled the screen, his golden eyes cold with determination. Behind him, she could see Commander Thakmor's insectoid form and several other alien delegates. Director Santos, I am Admiral Zexhai of the Saurian Republic, commanding the Joint Federation Inspection Fleet. By order of the Galactic Assembly, we require immediate access to your construction facilities and the vessel designated Prometheus Dawn. Elena had rehearsed this moment countless times. Admiral, welcome to the Kepler system. Humanity appreciates the Federation's interest in our defensive preparations. However, our security protocols require advanced coordination for any inspections of classified systems. Commander Thakmor pushed forward, his mandibles clicking with impatience. Director, this is not a request. The Assembly has authorized us to ensure this vessel poses no threat to galactic peace. You will provide complete access or face the consequences. Consequences? Elena's voice remained calm despite the implied threat. Admiral, are you suggesting that the Federation intends to use force against a peaceful construction facility? Admiral Zexhai held up a scaled hand to restrain Thakmor. Director, we hope to resolve this diplomatically. However, the vessel you have constructed represents an unprecedented threat. We cannot allow it to become operational without ensuring it serves purely defensive purposes. Elena activated additional screens showing the shipyard's defensive positions. Admiral, I should inform you that Kepler Station operates under full defensive protocols. Any aggressive action will be met with appropriate response. Through the station's observation windows, the massive bulk of the Prometheus Dawn became visible as it slowly rotated in its construction cradle. Even unfinished, the vessel dwarfed everything else in the system. Construction lights flickered along its hull as work crews made final adjustments to external systems. By the void, whispered one of the alien delegates. It's even larger than the holographic projection suggested. Admiral Zexhai stared at the massive ship with mixture of awe and concern. Director, that vessel could single-handedly challenge any fleet in the galaxy. Surely you understand our concerns. Elena nodded. I understand your perspective. Admiral. However, size alone does not determine threat level. The Prometheus Dawn's systems are designed for exploration and defense, not conquest. Then prove it, Commander Thakmore chittered. Allow our technical teams full access to verify these claims. Elena paused, knowing her next words would determine the course of events. Admiral, I can arrange limited tours of non-classified sections. However, our most sensitive technologies must remain protected. The Coalition fleet moved closer to the station, weapons powered but not yet targeted. Elena watched dozens of alien vessels position themselves around the shipyard complex. The tension was reaching a breaking point. Suddenly, alarms began sounding throughout Kepler Station. Elena's tactical officer looked up from his console with alarm. Director, we're detecting weapon locks from multiple Coalition vessels. They're targeting our defensive platforms. Admiral Zexhay's image on the screen showed confusion. Director, my vessels have not initiated targeting protocols. Commander Thakmore's chittering grew more aggressive. The Hive Collective has lost patience with human deception. If you will not cooperate voluntarily, we will ensure compliance. Elena's heart raced as she realized the situation was spiraling out of control. Admiral, I strongly advise you to restrain your Coalition partners. Any attack on this facility will be considered an act of war. Before Admiral Zexhay could respond, weapons fire erupted from 3 Hive vessels. Energy beams struck Kepler Station's outer shields, causing them to flare with defensive energy. Elena's tactical officer immediately responded. Return fire authorized on attacking vessels only, Elena commanded. Protect the station and shipyard. The space around Kepler Station erupted into chaos as defensive platforms engaged the attacking Hive ships, while other Coalition vessels tried to restore order. Admiral Zexhay's voice cut through the communications chaos. Cease fire. All vessels stand down immediately. But Commander Thakmore's forces continued their assault, convinced that humanity's vessel represented an existential threat that justified any action. More Hive ships joined the attack, forcing Elena to make a decision that would change everything. Communications, open a channel to the Prometheus Dawn. Captain Marcus Webb's image appeared on screen. The veteran spacer's weathered face showed calm determination despite the battle raging around them. Director, we're reading the situation, awaiting your orders. Elena took a deep breath. Captain, authorization code Alpha 77. Prometheus Dawn is cleared for defensive activation. Understood, Director. Beginning startup sequence now. Throughout the shipyard, every sensor turned toward the massive vessel as its systems came online for the first time. The Prometheus Dawn's hull began to glow with internal energy as its revolutionary power systems activated. Defensive shields materialized around the ship, creating distortions in space itself. Admiral Zexhay watched in stunned silence as readings from his sensors became incomprehensible. Impossible. The energy output is beyond our measurement capabilities. The Prometheus Dawn slowly separated from its construction cradle, moving with surprising grace for such a massive vessel. As it cleared the shipyard structure, its true dimensions became apparent to the Coalition fleet. The ship was not just large, it was revolutionary. Commander Thakmore's attacking vessels suddenly found their weapons ineffective against the Prometheus Dawn's shields. Energy beams that could penetrate standard military armor simply dissipated against the ship's defensive barriers. The human vessel had not even returned fire. Captain Webb's voice carried across all communication channels. Coalition fleet, this is Captain Marcus Webb of the UES Prometheus Dawn. You are engaged in hostile action against civilian facilities. Cease fire immediately or face defensive response. The massive ship oriented itself between the attacking Hive vessels and Kepler Station. Its presence alone seemed to drain the aggression from the situation. Even Commander Thakmore's forces hesitated before such overwhelming technological superiority. Admiral Zexhay activated emergency protocols. All Coalition vessels, immediate ceasefire. Commander Thakmore, recall your ships immediately. But the Hive commander had passed the point of rational decision-making. The threat must be eliminated before it becomes unstoppable. 3 more hive vessels opened fire on the Prometheus Dawn directly. Captain Webb's response was measured but decisive. The Prometheus Dawn's defensive systems activated, creating energy barriers that absorbed the incoming fire completely. Then, with surgical precision, the massive ship's point defense systems disabled the attacking vessel's weapon arrays without causing casualties. Coalition Fleet, Captain Webb announced, the Prometheus Dawn's defensive demonstration is complete. We have disabled aggressive systems while preserving all crew lives. This represents our commitment to proportional response and protection of life. The space around Kepler Station fell silent, except for the hum of engines and emergency systems. Every alien captain stared at their sensors, trying to comprehend what they had witnessed. The human vessel had effortlessly neutralized multiple attackers while showing remarkable restraint. Counselor Viridian's crystalline ship moved forward from the Coalition formation. Captain Webb, this is Counselor Viridian of the Crystal Coalition. Your vessel's capabilities exceed all known technology. Yet you chose restraint over destruction. May I ask why? Captain Webb's image appeared on all Coalition screens. Counselor, the Prometheus Dawn was built to protect, not to conquer. We could have destroyed the attacking vessels, but that would have made us the aggressors we're accused of being. Our strength serves peace, not war. Director Elena watched as the political dynamics shifted in real time. The aliens had expected human aggression and found measured defense instead. They had anticipated conquest and discovered protection. Admiral Zexhai slowly lowered his ship's weapons. Captain, your vessel represents power beyond anything in the galaxy. What assurance can you give that humanity will use this responsibly? Admiral, Captain Webb replied, our actions speak louder than our words. We had the opportunity to eliminate perceived threats and chose diplomacy instead. The Prometheus Dawn will explore the unknown and defend the innocent. That is our commitment to the galaxy. Commander Thakmore's damaged vessels limped back toward the Coalition fleet. His voice carried defeat and grudging respect. The Hive Collective acknowledges human technological superiority. Your restraint in victory demonstrates wisdom we did not expect. Elena felt relief wash over her as weapons powered down throughout the system. The crisis had passed, but the implications would reshape galactic politics for generations. Humanity had revealed their strength and their character simultaneously. Counselor Viridian's voice carried across all channels. Perhaps this incident demonstrates that we have misjudged humanity's intentions. The Prometheus Dawn could have ended this confrontation with overwhelming force, yet chose a path that preserved lives and dignity. Captain Webb nodded. Counselor, we built this ship because we believe the galaxy holds wonders and dangers beyond our current understanding. When those challenges arise, we want to face them as united civilizations, not divided by fear and suspicion. Admiral Zexhay's expression showed new understanding. Captain, the Saurian Republic wishes to discuss collaborative arrangements. If humanity is preparing for external threats, perhaps we should prepare together. Elena smiled as she watched former enemies become potential allies. The Prometheus Dawn had done more than demonstrate human technological capability. It had shown human character under pressure. The galaxy would never again underestimate humanity, but more importantly, they would never again doubt human commitment to peace and protection. As the Coalition fleet began standing down from combat readiness, Elena opened communications with Earth. Ambassador Chen, this is Director Santos. The situation at Kepler is resolved. The giants have awakened, and the galaxy is listening. The Prometheus Dawn completed its first flight test by returning to dock at Kepler Station. Its mission was just beginning, but already it had changed everything. Humanity had earned its place among the stars not through conquest, but through strength tempered by wisdom and restraint. The universe was vast and full of unknowns, but humanity would face whatever came next with allies beside them, and the knowledge that their greatest weapon was not their technology, but their commitment to protect and preserve life throughout the galaxy.